to be her. Hi everyone, my name is Becc Sahasrara and welcome to another episode. You might be wondering, why do I need to be an it girl? That's such a cliche, like what is that? I really want to share with you today about the true meaning of being an it girl and what that can actually do for you in your life and especially in your feminine liberated power. So this sort of content at the moment is going around a lot of like being an it girl, being a high value woman, being like the girl that's got all that. And it's this kind of visiony perspective of women who have a lot of money, who are decked out in luxury clothing, who have a very sexy husband or lovers, and are really like in their power as well. And you can see this from all spectrums, from like really superficial to like actually being in your power and really deep. And I think it's important for all of us to actually be an it girl, for all of us to be the girl that is all that or thinks that she is all that and embodies that. I want you to be the girl that triggers people. I want you to be the girl that pisses people off because you have so much money or because you have so much beauty radiating off of you. And I want this for you because actually you being in your it girl presence, your vibe is your feminine radiance, your feminine magnetism, your feminine liberation, and that is your absolute birthright as a woman. You actually came here to be the best version of yourself. You came here to be the best, most fully expressed version of you. When we are talking about being an it girl, as long as we're not going too superficial, we are actually talking about how can I become the most me. It is an absolute privilege for you to be you. It is an absolute privilege for you to be the most you that you can be in this life. We are societally all around us conditioned to be somebody else, to be a certain way, to be conditioning, to be cookie cutter, to be like box and shape cutouts. We are actually here to be the individuated essence of your soul. And I believe that when people see somebody or sort of judge somebody as being an it girl or being she's all that, a lot of the time it is because this woman has come into her more full expression of who she truly is. She has learned how to express who she is on a soul level in the physical form. So in her physical body, perhaps, in her beauty, perhaps, and in her physical life. So the things that she does, the way that she behaves, her like businesses or relationships, whatever, everything in the physical world. Because what's actually happened and what we want to happen is that your soul essence, which is a very real substance that lives in you, waiting to kind of be rejuvenated, awakened. A lot of people call this life force energy, but it's also a sacred oil that if you're a clairvoyant like me, you can actually see that is starts to be produced in the heart area. And this substance is meant to, through your healing, come up into the heart, like pulsate, and the heart sort of comes into a reawakening. And then this substance is pushed through the blood as little light particles. My guide is helping me explain. That goes into the rest of your body and kind of electrifies the rest of your body even more. And we could see this or word this also as like a reawakening of your energy centers. And basically that soul substance overflows. So the soul light that you are before and beyond everything else, it actually starts to become in overflow. And when it becomes in overflow, first it starts from the heart and it comes out into your own body. And then that comes out into your physical world as well, because the way that it changes you and rewrites you and makes you living more from your soul, you will then start to operate and behave and build/manifest from that level of your consciousness. And that is how people start to create their dream life. And they have this it girl vibe, which is also the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of heaven is within you, heaven on earth. I wanted to say heaven on earth. That's what's meant by that ancient terminology. And so you are here to be the most beautiful, most magnetic, inner and outer, the most sexy, sexually alive is what that means. The most confident girl, you know. So many of these terms for women have been distorted, like a confident woman is a bitch, you know. A boundaried, empowered woman is a bitch, or thinks that she's above all everybody. A woman who is sexy and physically attractive, or she, you know, she must be superficial, or just that that's not okay. When she's actually just being sexually alive, like the beautiful flower that the feminine is meant to be. We are meant to be more than the masculine, a seduction. We're a spiritual seduction. And, you know, you can think of like a flower with dewdrops. We want to have our essence dewdrops coming off of us, and that's like hypnotic to it. Naturally is hypnotic to men, but what it actually is about is that it's just magnetism. It's just your soul substance coming out, and the opposite polarity, so men can be affected by that. So, you know, you're meant to be magnetic, you know, a woman who has everything in life. So she's got all the cars, or she's got all the stuff. Like, good on her, you know, amazing job. Not like, oh, she shouldn't, and you know, we should be ashamed of being luxurious or wealthy if that's our vibe, you know. And that wealth, for example, comes in many forms, you know. For somebody, they're going to utilize their wealth to add beauty to their life through luxury items, handmade items that make them feel the vibration of beauty. For some people, it's let me take this wealth and buy land and have a property and live off the grid, you know. For me, it's kind of both. Like, I'm a really weird mix of farm girl and luxury vibes. Because I love beauty, but I also see so much beauty in nature. And I love animals and all of that. So remember that when you're talking about being an it girl, you're really talking about how can I be the fullest expression of me? And the fullest expression of you is going to be unapologetic in her expression. She's going to be confident. She's going to be an overflow of her energy, which naturally, organically, naturally results in an overflow of your wealth. And richness, because richness is soul richness, and richness really comes from and is expressed through not only money, but the richness of your relationships, the richness of your relationship with life, the richness of your spirit, the richness of your love, the richness of your capacity to hold and to be a rich, deep person, different things like this, the richness of your life experience. So I want us to get really down with the like superficial vibes of it all, of being an it girl, or being beauty, or being you know, really wealthy. It's not superficiality, and we have been completely like conditioned and programmed, a lot of people, especially in the spiritual community, to think that that is like that is all that is superficial, and that that's not okay. But can you see how that actually squishes people who are here to be spiritually sovereign, and it makes you less free, it makes you smaller. You know, if I have to be poor in order to be a good person, well, then there's lots of bad people in the world who have a lot of money, who are spiritually dark. And how helpful for them that a lot of spiritual people have this sort of conundrum with their relationship with money. And that our freedom is in reclaiming your sovereignty. And sovereignty means, to me, it means the fact that I am a sovereign being. So I'm an individual, powerful being who chooses everything that I create, who has always chosen everything that I create. And therefore, I am self-responsible for everything. And that means that I'm powerful, and that means that I can create differently, and I can change, and I can grow, and all of those things. It also means that I am holy, and I am divine, and I am in the full embodiment and lived recognition of my divinity as a sovereign being. And you are as well. You absolutely are as well. So I wanted to first start this video by talking about this whole concept of being an it girl, and what we're really talking about. And then I want to speak with you about what does it mean to become her? How can we become her? What we're talking about is actually becoming like the full best version of yourself, a high value woman. All of that is the highest version of yourself. And we can have a really big vision for our highest version. So if you think about like, what is the most, let's say, the most loved version of you, the wealthiest version of you that you can possibly imagine, the most safe version of you, the most free version of you, all these higher levels of important things that are important to you, what is she like? I want you to think about and picture her and feel into that version of you. And you can picture it, you can imagine it. Sometimes you will intuitively receive it just by intending this and focusing on this. Or you will bring things to mind from your imagination, and both. And when you have a picture of her, which is not just a visual, but also a kind of feeling, I want you to ask, how does she feel in her day-to-day life? What you do is then you can work backwards from that vision. So you can have that vision, and then you can look at your current self and your current life and the current attributes that you have, the current way that you live your life, and you can see what is not her. You can see the ways that you're not acting like her, or the ways that you're not living like her, and you can start to make changes from there. This is a bigger process that is done every time that you level up. But it's particularly something that I help women to really develop and work through in the one-on-one mentorship that I offer called Potency, which is about how to become the most potent feminine version of you, especially if you're a spiritual entrepreneur who wants to live from your feminine expression and freedom and really be the beautiful butterfly that you are, as the it girl that you are, and live your highest version. And a mentor can help you be accelerated and supported through that process. But so you can think about this version of you and you can work backwards in your life. And that is one of the main strategies that I've used to become this beautiful version of myself today. Bearing in mind that there's always another level that you can evolve to, I wanted to use my own journey as a bit of an example to share with you about how you can create your it girl vibe of yourself. And in another video, I'll probably talk about how I manifested my dream life as well. I really, really did. So just so you all know, my journey has been so incredible. And I'm at a point now where I am running and holding a beautiful six-figure spiritual business. I'm at this level of wealth that I pictured and intended and worked towards. I am living in pretty much my dream scenario. I'm also leveling up to a new environment soon, but manifesting this was very intentional. Where I do my work and I spend my days doing my work and spending time with my horse and my animals. I'm able to live in my more luxury vibe that I want to live in. I'm a very confident person. I'm very empowered with my boundaries and things like that. I don't take the kind of treatment I used to take from men. I'm very well treated by men that I've been romantically connected to since I did this journey. I believe that women deserve to have masculine, providing men, and that's what I've attracted as well. And so, I have beautiful sister friendships as well in my life. And for me, that kind of like this area, having them all really good, that was the vision for myself that I wanted. And for me to, I thought about how does that version of me feel? Well, I did a lot of work, and I did a lot of work with a mentor as well. I had to practice vibing and being that version of me before I was technically her. So I had to sit down and change my beliefs. Especially in my relationship to money, something that I really yearned for was to feel a sense of just neutrality with money, just no fear or scarcity, and I didn't even need to be excited, just to feel a peacefulness with my relationship and associations with money and abundance and wealth, and income and all of that. And I remember like when I first was doing some money stuff and I felt that feeling of being neutral and peaceful, in the way that I had always dreamed. I was doing stuff and I felt it for the first time. And it was such a just joy to know and to live that when you put in the work, these things do change your vibration and you do feel better in your life and you do become changed, you know? Um, so yeah, now I have a really peaceful relationship with wealth. I'm in constant wealth overflow, and that was everything that I intended. Um, and that's just one area of my life, you know. And when you affect one area or start to operate like her in one area, it becomes easier to do it in the other areas, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, the way that I became the it girl of myself was thinking about, well, what is that version of me like? And it's like, well, for me, it was like, well, she gets facials and she gets her nails done and stuff, and she buys beautiful clothes, and not like a shit ton of cheap clothes, like actually beautiful clothes. She has a horse, maybe two. Um, how would, and in scenarios, right? So if somebody, if you're in a relationship, any like friendship or anything, and somebody like there's conflict, there's situation, you want to ask yourself, like, how would that highest version of me respond to this situation? And you can apply that to anything. You can apply that to a relationship. You can apply that to, like, when you're choosing what to have for breakfast. What does the highest version of me eat for breakfast? What would she choose? Or change the question, like, would the highest version of me eat this junk food? Yes or no? And then to act that. And when you act that, you are training your energetic vibration to actually flow more of your light, to be this vibration of this picture of yourself that you've pictured. And then you become her. And it can, there's a bit of time to it, but you can become her. And it's been an extraordinary journey. And, I've had those moments of looking at my bank accounts and feeling neutral and feeling grateful as well, and peaceful instead of any stress. And also, I think, like, for me, when I bought my Tiffany and Co sunglasses, I was like, who they're prescription and they're really beautiful, and I was like, just yay, like I can do that. And when I started to attract men who treated me really, really well, and who saw me and like treated me emotionally in the right way, and would say things to me like, you're so, that I always wanted to hear and that I never got in the past, like, you're so beautiful and I really see you, and um you're amazing, and they can see your power and can hold it and appreciate it. And the providing men as well, who, like, let me pay for your nails, let me buy you a dress, let me solve that problem for you, in your, you know, life situation, like whatever it is, because they're in their masculine. And um, that is what that version of me expects, deserves, and receives. And so when you choose to start acting as if and operating as if you are an it girl, you are the woman who is all that, not just thinks it, but you are all that. Being all that, in my opinion, is just self-ownership. Like, I own myself. Like, I own that I am this and that and all of those things. And in that way, it's sort of like this vibe of like, I'm all that, and people, pick up on that. And, on this journey, you may have people create judgments and stories about you, because people are triggered by other people's power if they are at a lesser level of their power. And that has to do with the beauty, the absolute beauty and beautiful mechanism of your spiritual soul substance and light, actually, that it can initiate other people into their next level. And if they are exposed to your light, your aura, and then they have a choice. They have a choice for it to inspire them and to they rise. And in that way, you're teaching just through your embodiment. And that's so beautiful. And that's how we collectively help each other. Or they have a choice to feel your light, and then they feel like their old pain that needs to cleanse in the face of that light, and hopefully they just let it go. But sometimes they'll feel their resistance and they might make it about you and, project shit onto you, all of that. It's actually because of the mechanisms of light that are at work here. So if you are having people in this process, if you're having people that really, really love you and or also really, really hate you, you're doing it right. Okay, you're doing it right. Because you're having an effect and you're having an impact, and that's beautiful. So being your it girl self is a choice that you make. It's a choice that you make every day to live from the higher version of yourself. And it may be that you have, I want to tell you guys, you can have the highest vision, like the highest level of you. She might be a multi-millionaire. She lives in like a 8-bedroom house, or like whatever your highest grandest vision is. You can hold that and make steps towards that. And you can also kind of come like halfway down, and be like from where you are and be like, what is the next level me? What is the next step? What is the next step I need to take to eventually become that? Because sometimes when we try to jump really big vibrational gaps, energetic gaps, we can accidentally make ourselves go into a bit of too much resistance, because it's just a bit too much. So play with it and think about like, okay, if I want to be a multi-millionaire, but right now you have, $10 to your name, just what is the next level of abundance for you in this moment? And still trust and believe in the background of your multi-millionaire vision. This is partly like a felt thing. And again, like if you mentor with me, I'm more able to guide you into a journey with this that's concentrated, so you can really extract the answers quite easily. For right now, I just invite you to play with this and to try on these notions. I'm just going to look at my notes as well to see if there was anything else I wanted to share with you. What I was wanting to share as well is that this is really about living your full potential. Being an it girl, being the girl that's all that, being a high value woman, being spiritually embodied. We're talking about living the fullness of your soul's potential, which is actually limitless. And yet also there are certain intentions and, let's say, goals, intentions that your soul came here to complete in this particular incarnation. So for that, we'll talk about that context of living your full potential. You came here to be fully expressed. You did not come here to be small. You came here to actually be in this soul light of yourself, and you came here to be the fully liberated feminine as well. If you're a woman, that's what you chose to be. So every day that we are sitting here and we're not developing ourselves and we're not living to our full potential, it's almost like, for lack of a better word, I wish I had a better word, but it's almost like an insult to the sovereign spiritual being that you are, because you came here with a very deliberate plan. And maybe I want to say it's a little bit disrespectful to like yourself. We need to respect and love ourselves enough to do the things that make us happy, to do the things that bring you the highest love. When you don't do the things in your life that are good for you, right for you, and make you happy and fulfill your soul's potential, you're disrespecting yourself, because you're saying to yourself, you're not worthy of living your dream life. Like, I don't believe that you're worthy. I don't believe that you're worthy enough for me to try to do it. And that is just so far from the truth, because you are incredibly worthy of living your highest expression in this lifetime. It is the only thing you came here to do, so you better do it. Okay, if you want to have a fulfilling life, if you want to feel good, not bad in your life, you need to develop your fullest potential and be the it girl. Because, like I said earlier, being you is such a privilege. Being you is such a holy, beautiful privilege. Like the God Force brought its different rays of cosmos and lights together over millennia, and like little specks of dust and all these things had to magnetize, and so much in this universe had to come together for you to be. And now you're here, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do now that you're here? And especially for myself, being me and being an unrestricted in my expression and free being an authentic woman is so important to me, because it feels like I'm very aware of the privilege it is to be my true self, to not be enslaved by conditioning, because I endured significant mind control in the past, which is the most severe form of conditioning, and I was not myself. I was completely fragmented and disconnected from like even very small amounts of my true essence. Yet I made my way back, and now I know that all I came here to do was to live the most biggest beautiful life that I possibly can, and to be an it girl and be obsessed with myself and be obsessed with being myself, be obsessed with how much can I free myself, how much can I be the most authentic, joyful version of me. And through that, naturally, just in my overflow, I give to the world and I create the opportunity for others to do the same. And that's what I want you to do for you, and you will naturally also provide for others in your life as well. So I also wanted to talk here about confidence, because when we talk about being the it girl, we're also talking about being a very confident version of you. And confidence is such a funny thing, because for me, it's actually like when I developed it in myself and through that journey, and when I think about it, it's actually like a intangible quality. Like it's not something separate or on its own. It's not a thing. What confidence actually is just the liberation and freedom of anything that was in the way of your full expression. And then people will say you're confident, you'll feel confident. But it's confidence is not a thing. It's not a thing. It's a made up thing. Confidence is what happens, or isn't is what happens when any old shame, fear, and grief and things like this are dissolved from your field, dissolved from your womb, especially ladies, and dissolved from your throat chakra, especially for women. We develop confidence as well when we respect ourselves and we have strong boundaries, because when you have strong boundaries, like I said earlier, in a similar way of, you're saying to yourself, you are worthy of having a better life or a better relationship or whatever than this. And when you don't have boundaries, you're saying to yourself, you're not worthy of that. And that depletes confidence, because you're treating yourself badly. And if you've ever been treated badly, you know how it injures your confidence, because your confidence is connected to your self-worth. So you need to have a higher concept of self-worth so that you can be confident. And you can develop that through the way that you operate, the way that you allow yourself to have strong boundaries, the way that you respect yourself, the way that you're disciplined with yourself in terms of making self-loving, healthy choices, lots of different forms. And what I wrote here was something I want to share with you, which is that feminine confidence is choosing to face everything that's made you not the most fully you. So it's when you go to the party by yourself, you get triggered, you might feel like you don't belong and you want to go home, but you stay. This is how you get confidence. You stay, you feel it all. You might do a process at the party. I actually did that once, but you face it, and that is what makes you free. And when you're free from that pain, then you're confident. And you just keep being yourself. You have to know that the most important thing that you came here to do is to be yourself, because everything else that you want comes from you being yourself. The wealth comes from you being yourself. Why? Because to be yourself, you have to be in your self-worth, you have to be in your radiance, you have to be in your magnetism, and that is what naturally attracts money. to be yourself, you have to love yourself. And so you'll start to attract, loving relationships, people that treat you the way that you treat you now that you love yourself. You'll start to attract more opportunities and things like that because you're living in more freedom of yourself. You came here to be you. And in my teachings throughout the years, I will say I have felt challenged in the past to explain what the work I offer is, what it means to remember who you are. Like, that's my message, is remember who you are, to remember and embody the true essence of who you are. And what I've always said and want you to know is that when you embody your true spiritual essence, everything else comes, and everything else is a direct byproduct of you becoming the most fully alive, expressed essence embodied, because you've deleted and cleared the painful conditioning that's been in the way of this version of you. When you become her, that's when you get everything that you've ever wanted. So I can tell you that I can help you become a multi-six-figure woman. I can help you to attract a high value masculine man, all of those things. But what we're really doing and what it all is about you becoming that version of you. And it's who is that version of you that gets those things. It's about you becoming the woman you are meant to be, and then those things just happen. Because you'll get those things, but all they are supposed to do is feed into and nurture back into you, that you feel more loved and you feel more held by life than ever before, and you become more of yourself. Everything in your life should nurture the cultivation of your essence, but especially for women as well. We have to structure our life in a way where everything that you are doing nurtures you and feeds back into you. And again, this is something that I offer in my trainings and mentorships, and I'm really excited about, because when I learned how to do this and live this, and I saw all of this, I was blown away. And I was like, I lived it, I lived it. And some of the things that have happened in my life have been so amazing, and the things that have happened in my client's life as well, going from like being, the smaller version of themselves and being shy and being like afraid to go to a party by themselves, to one of my clients said that she had a guy come up to her and be like, oh man, I love your vibe, when she was dancing. And that was just so far from anything that she had ever embodied before. And she was just being in her vibe. She was being the it girl. So this spiritual work is about creating your best version of yourself in your dream life, and being the it girl and being all that, and being a high value woman. And being an it girl, creating your dream life, manifesting your dream life or your dream version of yourself, is all about how much can you embody your spiritual essence. And it's all you came here to do. And I am so happy that you are here, and I know that this video is going to serve you in the highest way possible. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe so you don't miss another episode. Select the little bell as well. And reach out if you have any interest in working together to create this next version of you. Leave in the comments how this has gone for you. Yeah, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.